How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this late night video, we have some breaking news to cover. The Toronto Defiant have traded their former captain and off-tank Envy to the Shanghai Dragons. Believe it or not, but this trade actually had some significance, and there's a bunch you have to think about too. But before we get into all the details and kind of just what I'm thinking about when it comes down to this trade, I wanted to quickly read out all the official social media posts made by the Toronto Defiant, Shanghai Dragons, and of course Envy himself. So starting off with the Shanghai Dragons, here's what they had to say on Twitter. We're happy to announce Envy joining the Shanghai Dragons from the Toronto Defiant. Please welcome him as the newest member of our roster. #breakthrough. Just like with Shanghai's welcome tweet, the Defiant decided to keep their goodbye tweet short and sweet. Here's what they had to say. Today we announce Envy's transfer to the Shanghai Dragons. Thank you, Envy, for bringing in your veteran professional experience and captaining our team. We wish you the best of luck with the Dragons. Envy also had something to say on Twitter, and it's basically him just saying goodbye to the Toronto Defiant. The tweet is in Korean, so you have to use Google Translate, and basically all it's really saying is that he was happy while he was with the team and that it was really fun and that he appreciated his time he spent there. Okay. Now that we've gotten all of the social media posts out of the way, let's talk a bit more about this trade because, wow, there is a lot on my mind right now. Let's start off by taking a look at this from the Dragons' point of view. There's some definite question marks lying ahead for these guys because, yes, picking up Envy was really good for them, but they were doing kind of well with the Somber Goats composition with Ding in the lineup, even though he can't really play Diva. But now, who really knows what the Dragons want to do? They could run traditional Goats with no problems at all because Envy is a pretty darn good Diva. He's definitely better than Geguri or anybody else they have on the team right now. There's also a possibility that they run a mix of Somber Goats and normal Goats. Maybe in one map they can put in Envy for his Diva, and then on the next they can sub him out and then put Ding back in and they'll play Sombra instead. I personally believe that the Shanghai Dragons just got a whole lot scarier. They can hurt you in so many different ways now. They can use normal Goats, Somber Goats, or DPS. If you're a Shanghai Dragons fan, you should be feeling ecstatic about this pickup. It honestly felt like this team was only missing one thing, and that just so happens to be a good Diva player, but that's no longer a problem. You have Envy now. He's a beast. Before I move on from the Dragons, I wanted to ask you guys a quick question. What is going to happen to Geguri now? Is she going to get traded away or released or something, or is she just going to stay on the team? I feel like the obvious answer to this question is that the Dragons are going to keep her if they can, just because of the fact that she's one of the most influential figures we have in the Overwatch League. Why the heck would you even want to get rid of the only female player we have? But at the same time, the likelihood of her getting any more stage time from here on out is very low. Think about it. What use do the Dragons really have for her at this point? She can basically only play Diva and Zarya, but Envy and DM are better than her at those respective roles. I don't know what's going to happen with Geguri, but now let's move on to the Toronto Defiant. It's interesting that they decided to trade him only after a couple of weeks of Gods being the starter over him. I would say that there's a couple of different reasons why the Defiant decided to trade away Envy. The first of which is that they really like Gods, so they don't have much of a use for Envy, and you might as well make some extra cash off of him because there are teams who wanted him clearly since the Dragons decided to take him. Reason number two that Toronto decided to trade away Envy may be because he's not a very good teammate. Yes, it is true that he was the captain for them this year, but you have to remember that this isn't the first time that he's changed teams after being in the Overwatch League. Last year when he was on the Valiant, after Stage 2, they decided to give him the boot, and as a result, he had to go to Contenders. And while I don't really know if it's true, I've heard rumors that he was kind of toxic during his days on the Valiant. Although the likelihood of this being the reason that Envy was traded is slim, I think it's important not to rule it out of the realm of possibilities. Reason number 3 as to why Envy may have gotten traded is because he refused to speak English. After all, the Defiant decided to transition their team from a full Korean roster to more of a mixed one by adding in English-speaking players, Gods and Sharik. And although Envy was on an English-speaking roster during Overwatch League Season 1 when he was on the Valiant, I'm 99% sure that his English was never very good. Maybe Envy doesn't want to learn English or use it as his main source of communication in-game. It wouldn't be the first time we had a scenario where a player requested a trade because he didn't want to speak English and preferred to be on a Korean team. After all, look at the whole Fissure situation. One of the reasons he wanted to leave the Gladiators was because he wanted to be on a full Korean team, so that's why he went to Seoul. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Envy had the same mindset. As to who won this trade, well, in a way, both teams kinda did. The Dragons got a new off-tank player who can actually play Diva well, and the Defiant got some money and they still have Gods. And with that being said, I think that pretty much wraps everything up here, ladies and gentlemen. This week is going to be very, very interesting. Make sure to let me know what you think of this Envy trade down in the comment section. Also, if you enjoyed today's content, then make sure to hit that like button and sub to my channel if you're new so you can keep up with all of the most significant Overwatch League news. As always, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.